Stranger Things revealed. Rick and Morty revealed. Punny Factory revealed.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Joosten. I'm the editor of Pinball Magazine, and I'm here with
Martin Ayub as the editor of Pinball News, and we're here to look back on the month of December 2019. And I know we always say this, but what a packed month it was.
Really? Oh, I had no idea. No, I thought it was kind of quiet, nothing going on.
Those three things you just said. Yeah, I mean, it's three new games revealed. Nothing very much happening, I suppose, really.
Right.
Apart from the other things we're going to talk about, which normally seem to stretch out to an hour or more.
Right.
No matter what's been going on.
Okay, so 3 new games revealed. That's. I think this is the only month this year that we had 3 new games revealed.
I think it's pretty impressive, really, right at the end of the year.
And from 3 different companies. It's not like Stern is cranking out 3 new games every month, although we had a month that they cranked out 2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's been a busy year for Stern, as we'll look back on in Pinball News review of the year, certainly, and I'm sure other people will be looking back on what's been going on in the
sort of
in
brings
the
up the
industry.
questions. Are we doing a 2020 a 2019 recap of the year podcast?
Oh, perhaps we should do a clip show, the best bits from all our previous podcasts.
No, I know what we should do. We should do a best of Gary calling in.
Oh, wow. That would be good. Yeah, we could release that as a special bonus podcast.
Yeah. I think people will enjoy that.
Yeah, it might be quite short, but I think brevity is probably the best thing in a situation like that.
Right. So, sorry.
Yes, so anyway, moving on. Quickly.
So 3 new games revealed, and we're starting off with Stern's Stranger Things, although Rick and Morty were revealed a week prior to that, but there's a good reason for us to start with Stranger Things, because of the 3 pinball machines that actually were revealed the past month, Stranger Things is at the moment the only one actually being in production and available for people to buy.
Yes, that's right. And in fact, I know it's a first for Stern. I think it probably is. It was available to buy on the very same day that they revealed the details of the game to the public.
Not only that, it was even on location the day of the reveal.
Yeah, people could go and play it. So that's that's pretty impressive, I think, to have got the game out not only to distributors but also to operators without there being such a massive leak. Well, that's not to say that the whole launch was leak-free.
No.
We were kind of involved in a little bit of that, but I'll let you give a few details of what was leaked prior to the official announcement.
Well, first of all, we have to give credit where credit is due, and I think the first leak of a Stranger Things promotional video was shared by Canada.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah,
he was the first, and of course, in
his video,
typical Canada fashion, he didn't bow down to anybody, and he didn't take it down, as far as I know. The funny thing is, we were both approached by email from a Gmail account that suggested that it belonged to George Gomez, who is Stern Pinball's vice president of game design, for those who don't know, with a link to a Dropbox file where that same video was could be downloaded. But of course,
let's just say what this video was. This was a Stern promotional video, I believe. I think it was actually produced by them, but not published and not released officially. It showed the premium model of Stranger Things, which is the model, or that and the limited edition have the projector feature, which has a projector under the apron on the playfield, projecting images onto the screen, the spinner, and some stand-up targets and drop targets as well. Now that was done in a very dark environment, and it came out. It was leaked before Stern officially announced the game.
Right, although that was just a day later that Stern came with the official announcement. And following the leak, which happened in a weekend, by the way, which is always a good time to leak things because nobody's in the office. So if you're going to leak anything, do it in the weekend. But during the weekend, Stern did respond, so to speak, by coming out with a let's call it the Christmas Lights teaser video, which was basically a short video that was shared on Stern's social media with the wall with the alphabet on it and the Christmas lights across it, and there were blinking lights above certain letters, and if you put them in order in the way they were blinking, it spelled "coming soon." Right. So that got out during the weekend, and those in the know of who know the show might or have understood the link, and I think even at the end it said Stranger Things and Netflix. So the cat was basically out of the bag, but we had no idea what it looked like, other than obviously that teaser video showed it. Some say it was removed from YouTube, some say it wasn't. Really don't care. Stern came out with the video and even more footage of the game, because there was also a video made available on the day of the reveal, in which all the features on the premium model, I think, were sort of highlighted. And of course, Jack Danger had a Dead Flip live stream on his Twitch channel with game designer Brian and Eddie and a few others, where gameplay video was streamed and people could get a taste of what the game is currently playing like.
Yeah, just a little correction there. The only thing that's been shown so far is the Pro model. We haven't seen anything of the projector in action, I don't think. I think that's correct.
The Jack Danger stream was indeed the Pro model. I think the video on the website of Stern, where I'm referring to, I think Stern has 3 videos up there, including the promotional one that we both received, but also a more an extended one that is highlighting certain features. And I think, from the top of my head, because I don't have it in front of me, I think that was actually the premium model or LE model. But oh well. Stop that.
So anyway, there are 3 models.
If you want to see the videos, check the Stern website. So, and if we look at the because we've been talking about a game that has been revealed, and we haven't talked about the game itself yet. So, Martin, what are your thoughts on Stranger Things Pinball?
Well, I think, as Brian Eddy himself said, it's a sort of paying homage to his earlier titles, Attack from Mars, Medieval Madness, with being a 2-flipper fan layout with ramps left and right, a center shot. Although I think it's fair to say it's slightly enhanced in regard to the shots available there. But obviously the big feature in it is the screen, big in terms of the size of the mechanism itself. Yeah,
and which, for those who haven't seen pictures yet, we're talking about a screen, a sort of a wall, which is actually on the playfield, where
it's kind of like a drive-in movie screen, I guess you would describe it.
Yeah,
that sits in about the same place as the castle, or maybe slightly forward from that. in Medieval Madness or the Sorcerer, so a little bit forward of that, because it's a screen which is divided into 3 sections with a larger centre section which can hinge and can fold down to the playfield level.
Right.
And when it does that, it reveals
it becomes a ramp.
Yeah, it becomes a ramp where you can shoot the bash toy and shoot into it, actually.
Yeah, the Demogorgon or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the Demogorgon. Yeah, exactly. It's probably worth saying at this point that neither you or I have actually watched the series, have we? Stranger Things.
I'm completely unfamiliar with it. I'll give you my thoughts on what I've seen so far of the game. If you look at the playfield layout, yes, it reminds a lot of Medieval Madness Attack from Mars. I thought it also reminded, at least me, of Lord of the Rings, because obviously that has the Balrog toy in the center, where basically now is the other bash toy, which has like where you have to shoot the ball actually into the bash toy, which is some sort of Demogorgon beast. And you shoot it in where it's supposed to be is the head, which is like a ring. So that explains Lord of the Rings, that kind of thing. And since the game also has that magnet ball lock, at least on the premium and LE models on the back panel, that sort of reminded me of Twister. And I think the whole artwork package actually has a sort of Sega 90s feel to it, if at least to me. So,
right, there's being a montage of various elements from the TV series, rather than it being. I would say it's not original artwork, because it obviously is original, but it does feature a lot of different elements from the TV series itself,
different scenes and so on, and
put together into a montage. But I do feel for the artists who had to work on that, because the playfield itself is actually packed full of inserts, and there's very little space to really let the artwork shine. So right. I think it was a difficult job, but I think they've done pretty well, considering.
And so the game is based on the seasons 1 and 2 of Stranger Things. There's currently 3 seasons available. And what's interesting is that because it's based on these 2 seasons, that's actually also part of the inserts that you mentioned on the playfield, where on the inserts on the left have to deal with season 1, and inserts on the right with season 2. So, and when Brian Eddy was explaining it on the Dead Flip stream, I could sort of understand and see that as a progress from Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars, and so it made sense. Now we just have to wait and see how much fun the game will be once code is being developed further, because currently we're at 0.75 as a code update that was announced earlier today when we were recording this. So we're still a long way from 1.0. It could be interesting. The only thing is, I sort of had a bit of an X-Files feel with the music, which is obviously music that is in line with how the show is, which is good. But it's not really exciting music. It's more like.
It's very low key and sort of ambient, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not something that stirs you into excitement about the game itself.
Right, and we're in the middle of an exciting pinball machine here. Come on, let's make the music a bit more, upbeat and oh well. But that's just me. In general, I would say that. Compared to Rick and Morty, I'd say the response to the reveal of Stranger Things was a bit less enthusiastic, I would say. But
Yeah, it
that
was a
might
little bit
be just
lucid,
me
I
that
think.
I didn't read all the posts on Pinside and other social media and so on. But my impression was that, okay, yeah, we've seen it. Okay, it's interesting. We watch the stream. Cool. What's next? That's a bit harsh to say, but that was sort of the feeling that I got. Like, I didn't get the feeling that people were getting very, very enthusiastic about this game, which is a pity because a lot of people have been looking forward to Brian Eddy's new game.
Yeah, I have to say, on a personal basis, that I thought the theme didn't help because I wonder how many people actually watch Stranger Things. I guess amongst a certain demographic, who get Netflix and watch it and enjoy it, and that's great. But I would say the majority of people don't have a Netflix subscription.
Right.
And even those who do don't necessarily watch or enjoy Stranger Things. So you're targeting quite a small audience here,
right?
And I think it's not something which instantly is accessible to people who don't know anything about the theme, like you and I. And we look at it and we go, okay, I don't understand what that's about. What's this screen? Don't understand that. What's that lab that it's showing there? It's not instantly gettable.
Right,
by people like us.
In all fairness, I guess that's true for, I'd say, 80% of the themes that Stern has licensed in the past 20 years for me. So, I didn't watch CSI, NBA I don't care about, 24 I didn't watch. I'm not much of a TV junkie, so to speak. What's interesting, I understand that there is quite a hype for Stranger Things, but obviously the behavior of people watching or following such a show is sort of has changed in the sense that with traditional TV shows you have an episode or a new episode every week, and with Netflix usually the entire season becomes available from whenever it's becoming available. And people binge watch it, or a lot of people do that. So basically, they watch the entire season in 2 days, and then they move on with their lives. So yeah, you watch the entire season, and then you go watch something else. And obviously, everybody can do that in their own time. So that's not building the hype and anticipation of having to watch an episode on a fixed time slot every week on a special day of the week. So,
yeah, I'm not sure whether Stranger Things is released in that format or not, because I'm been seeing a few sort of things about teases about what's going to happen to various characters in the next episode.
Okay.
So that kind of suggests that you can't just watch them all straight away. But anyway, that's by the by. It's so that's Stranger Things, Stern's latest game,
right?
Which has, I think, I like the layout, and it does feel very familiar to me in that regard, even if the theme itself isn't. So I think it's a good compromise of giving people who maybe don't know Stranger Things something that they do understand.
Right. So we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, compared to Brian Eddy's biggest hits, being Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars, this one is a license, and it's a rather serious one. So at least I didn't get any humor so far from the stream, and humor is definitely something that helps in pinball, and that's actually a very nice bridge to Spooky's reveal of Rick and Morty, which is also a show that I was not familiar with, and if I'm not mistaken, neither were you.
No, it's another one which we don't or haven't been watching, and in fact I actually tried to watch a bit of one, and I think it was probably not a good idea jumping straight into the first episode of season 4, because there's a certain amount of assumed knowledge, I think it's fair to say, for those who've been watching the previous 3 seasons, and it didn't make a huge amount of sense and just seemed slightly annoying to me. But that's probably heresy to all those people who absolutely love Rick and Morty, and I know there's a large number of them, because the game was revealed, and there was a limited number of machines available, 750, and they were initially only going to be available to those members of the spooky, what they call the Fang Club, F-A-N-G Club, which is their kind of like the Stern Insider program. Right. So that gets you extra information, a bunch of goodies as well when you sign up for it. And that game was originally going to be like a 2-week exclusive to members of the fan club. As it turned out, that was all moot, because the game sold out within just a few hours.
Right.
And all 750 had gone. Some, I think, maybe went to distributors. So maybe there are still some available if you know who to ask, but I doubt it. I think they're probably all been snapped up by now.
There were 2 versions available in Canada.
Well, maybe, yeah. 2 versions available: the standard edition and the Bloodsucker edition.
Right.
People could choose which one they wanted when they ordered. There was a small premium, I think, on the Bloodsucker edition. Not a huge amount. I forget exactly. It was between about $600, I think, wasn't it? For the
$525, I think.
$520. I was going to say between 5 and 6. Yep. For the Bloodsucker edition, which it has the same play field. The changes are cosmetic, but judging by what they are, it certainly seemed worthwhile going for that. The other advantage to getting the Bloodsucker edition was that those will be made first, and the standard editions will be made at the end of the run.
Right.
It just seemed that almost everybody has gone for the Bloodsucker edition, which again kind of makes that.
So that makes the standard
not so much of an advantage. The standard is going to be much rarer than the Bloodsucker version, definitely. But you have to wait probably for about 15 months to get a standard edition. The Bloodsucker one's going to be made first in the order in which the orders were made, and starting, I guess, in the new year, or if not already. I think they might actually be making them already, but I think in the new year. And we haven't, of course, mentioned that this is I think we mentioned it last time, didn't we, that this is the Scott Danesi game number 2, because it was announced.
If you were waiting for Scott Danesi's Haunted House Party, then this is a huge disappointment. I understand that. It turns out to be he was working on Rick and Morty all the time, which makes me want to ask, like, when are we going to see Haunted House Party? But no, it's Scott Danesi's second game. This one does have ramps, but it also has an improved Scott Danesi ball lock, which in this case, again, works with drop targets, just like on Total Nuclear Annihilation. Only this time, we're looking at a horseshoe in the center of the playfield, where you can loop the ball around, and there's a drop target that can be raised in front of each of the entrants, and that's why creating a ball lock. And they're currently still looking at into whether it's going to be locking 2 balls or possibly 3. They have the technology to do 3, but Scott's afraid that Eric Priepke, the programmer of the game, may not like storing 3 balls in there, although technically it would be possible. So
yeah, the difference, or I think what makes that possible, is that there's also an outpost halfway around the horseshoe, which allows a ball to be locked on each side separately and to be used as captive balls, or the post can be down and the 2 balls can be knocked onto one side and none on the other, which would allow a post to come up and make the empty side available for a third lock. But it adds a whole level of complication to all kinds of things when that happens, because you have to keep track of more balls in there and work out what you're going to do in every circumstance and every combination where those balls can be.
Right.
I understand the reticence to add a whole load more pain to the programming of that. It's a nice toy. It's a nice, simple mechanism in terms of the actual parts involved, and gives a lot of opportunities of things you can do with them.
Right, and again, a very creative way of Scott and Easy basically using off-the-shelf parts and coming up with something rather innovative.
Yeah, which he's shown himself to be very good at before, of course, with TNA.
Yeah, so, and not to say that Stranger Things doesn't have innovation. I mean, we have a fold-down ramp, which if you don't count the drawbridge from Medieval Madness, that's the first. And the vertical ball magnet lock on the back panel in Stranger Things is also sort of a first.
Yeah,
although Twister does come to mind.
Underwhelmed. I didn't think that was such a great toy. I mean, maybe it could do some wild things, but at the moment it just seems to be another place to grab balls, and of course you have to worry about the potential of what's going to happen with the balls get magnetized.
Right?
Is that going to cause problems? And also, what do you do about it in between balls, in between players? If player one knocks two balls, and then in a 4-player game, those two balls are going to be held there for the rest of the game until it's their turn again.
Yeah, I don't know.
I presume you have to release all the balls. You can't just release one.
Right. And what if another player starts locking balls up there as well? Yeah. And there's already 2 balls. Then what?
Yeah, you can steal the multi-ball, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's definitely a possibility. But anyway, it's not going back to Stranger Things again. But
no. But congratulations to Pookie on selling out 750 units. Obviously, that does raise the question: should they have gone for more units? But then again, Pookie don't want to compete with Stern. They don't want to be a mass producer, and this is already going to take up 18 months of their production facility.
Yeah.
And then again, they might have gone for 1,000 or maybe even 1,250, I guess.
Who wants to wait 2 years from ordering a game before they get it? Whereas Stern are releasing the game on the day they announce it.
Right, but okay. So now, if we're getting back to Stern, that's probably Stern's strongest selling point at the moment. That you order a game and you basically take it with you immediately, because aside from Jersey Jack and American Pinball, who might have games in stock. Stern is definitely on the manufacturing end the best, the quickest to provide games into people's hands, so to speak, especially when it comes to new titles. But I also hear rumors that Stern needs to sell those games basically on the hype. Before people actually started playing them, because once people start playing them, they're just going to flip them and wait for something else, which is not a nice thing to say. I realize that, but I'm just reporting on what I've been hearing.
Well,
and that's just a business model, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's your business model so we make sure we design games and we announce them and we sell them, and if people don't like them, they sell them again. But that's not a problem. That's what people can do. And other companies announce a game and it takes them 18 months to build all of them, and that means you might have to wait 18 months before you get your game.
I don't know if anybody else is sort of getting a certain amount of interference from Jonathan's microphone. If you are, then I'm sure we'll be doing all we can in post-production to try and minimise the effect. But yeah, I actually agree that having the games available straight away, while wonderful, is also has a bit of a downside, because it means that there's actually even more of a time delay between the game being released and what could be considered a final version of the code being out there, because it provides less time for the programmers and the animators and the sound designers and everybody else to get all their work done. If the game is released immediately, it's announced. Previously, there'll be a couple of weeks or so where they could had a little bit of leeway there to catch up, but that's gone now. So the game is out there, and that's what people are seeing, and that's what they're reviewing, and that's what people are buying or not. That's what they're basing their purchasing decision on, what they're seeing out there right now.
Right. So, and it also means that people might be deciding, like, okay, they bought a new game, and while they know that code is still being developed, they might already decide on selling it because, for whatever reason, and not wait until the game improves with more code. Anyway, so, but again, congrats to Spooky for securing the Rick and Morty license and doing a home run, I would say, or while selling out all 750 units. If I were Spooky, I would extend the license immediately and do a second Rick and Morty game to go into production after the first one.
Yeah, could do. And it's interesting that those two games are both very good examples of the ability of both companies to keep at least a certain amount of their work secret. Stern got the games out, or manufactured them in the factory, got them out to distributors before anything really leaked out. And right. Rick and Morty was also, was under the radar license until Spooky decided to announce it. So, congratulations to both those companies on keeping their work well and truly undercover until they were ready to reveal it.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that there's no speculation on the next titles. Well, for Spooky, that's going to be a while, obviously, at least 18 months.
Yeah.
But for Stern, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a very strong rumor. We haven't discussed that yet, but
no, we don't tend to do rumors, do we?
Well, we try to stick to the facts, and the fact is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a very strong rumor, so we can report on the fact that this is being rumored.
That's true. Yes, I'll give you that, as it's Christmas. Well, so, almost the new year now, at the time we're recording this. But
right, and then on to the third reveal of month, which actually was a scoop, I guess, for you, Pinball News.
Yes.
So I'll let you do most of the talking about it.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, a while ago I had a conversation with Andrew McBain and the team from Team Pinball, who are based in South Wales. You might remember them from the game called The Mafia, which they produced. I remember them. Yes, well, you were there, and I was there at the same time in the factory to report on that game. Well, let's go back a bit to Andrew. Andrew is the man behind the Pinball Adventures series of books, amongst many other projects that he's been working on. You might equally remember there was a little bit of sort of turbulence when that first started with Todd Tuckey from TNT Amusements, who was lined up to front either, depending on who you talk to, either the first issue of Pinball Adventures or the entire 10-book series. But so some misunderstandings there, which were eventually sorted out. The first issue was printed in a bit of a hurry and rushed out before it was proofread properly, or laid out properly, probably say, and on poor quality paper. But Andrew took all that on board, reprinted it, re-edited it, and sent out replacement copies to everybody who got the first copy. And to me. So far, no, you didn't get yours. Oh, okay, I'm sure you get in touch.
I still have the crappy copy, which is going to be worth a lot of money someday.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know. He wanted the original spec, so you might get a replacement copy. So the first 4 of those have been published, I think, and there's 10 coming out. And besides all that, he does also a book series on what he called punnies, which are sort of, I don't know, visual word plays, I guess is probably the best way of saying it. And not only books, but there's also been some various other merchandise, T-shirts as well, featuring particular punnies of his. And then he announced a while ago he wanted to get into manufacturing of pinball machines. And in order to do that, because he hasn't got any manufacturing knowledge or experience himself or capability yet, certainly not the design side of it, he contacted Team Pinball after Romain from the team was at Pinball Expo talking about the making of the Mafia, and basically got in touch with them. They developed a game designed by Dave Sanders, who designed Full Throttle and Alien, much of Alien for Highway Pinball. And Dave came up with the game design, which Team Pinball built up some prototypes for, and are in conjunction with Andrew, constantly in contact with him, because Andrew had a whole bunch of features and ideas and thoughts about what he wanted in the first game. He wanted lots of drop targets, wanted varied target, and various other playfield shots, I'd say. And Team Pinball worked with him to produce what it was that he was looking for, and Andrew provided the artwork based on the punnies. His title is the Punny Factory, which is basically what the books are about, which is about this place, this mythical factory which produces these punnies, in which there's been an explosion and punnies have been released, and you have to go around and try and capture them, and that is the theme of the game as well. So there's a whole bunch of artwork, a whole bunch of graphical assets which can be used in the Punny Factory pinball. So he's provided the back glass, the playfield artwork. Although that's all been a development process with Team Pinball. Originally, the game was only a single ball game, but Team Pinball wanted it to be a multi-ball. Persuaded Andrew that would be a good idea, so he got on board with that. So added another aspect to it, and meant they had to put a ball trough into the game, which wasn't previously there. So some more development work, and so I was fortunate enough to get to go and visit the factory, play the game, talk to the team there, and then talk to Andrew about the whole process. And so the game is, at the moment, there were 2 prototypes which Team Pinball have built up and are sending over to Andrew for his approval. And once he's got them and he's happy with them, they're not just sending the playfield, they're sending, because Andrew will be making the cabinets or who will be getting the cabinets made himself rather than Team Pinball making cabinets. Team Pinball are sending over the playfields in frames with all the control systems,
right.
Almost like a mini cabinet which the playfield sits in, but it has the boards which are connected, and just plug them in, and the game can be played in the frame without having to put it into an entire cabinet. So they're sending 2 of them over to Andrew for his approval, and then it's up to Andrew what he decides to do, how he decides to get them made, whether he's going to get them made in the Team Pinball facility, although Team Pinball are not really a manufacturer, they're more a game designer house. So the game could be made, if there are buyers in the US, it would make sense to build the games in the US. If there are sales in Europe, it makes sense for someone like Team Pinball to make them and ship them more locally. So that's the basis of the Punny Factory game, which, as I say, you can see on the Pinball News site now.
Right. So, well, we still have to wait and see when this game goes into production and how big production will be. But I'm still happy for Team Pinball to have this project to be working on. You played the game. Any comments? I haven't played it, so I'm just curious.
It's a simple game. It's deliberately intended to be that way. It's a sort of family-friendly thing. Andrew was one of the things Andrew really wanted in the game was for it to be sort of once he put the multi-ball in, to make it sort of fairly multi-ball heavy. He likened it to a game like Class of 1812, where it's not difficult to get back into multi-ball again. So yeah, you can do that fairly easily, but there's a lot more strategy to it than just going into multi-ball, because ideally you will, although you might qualify multi-ball early, you actually want to qualify it several times to build up the jackpot values beyond the base and to make it more of a challenge. So although you can just, if you got casual players who are not familiar with pinball, then yeah, you can get instant gratification with a 2-wall multi-ball. Those who know a little bit more about the game will want to defer that and put some more strategy into it.
Okay.
But yeah, some nice ideas in the game, I'd say. Like having to spell out Punny Factory can be quite a lengthy process, but built in a feature where there's a sort of a roving stand-up target, and if you hit that completes it all in one shot. So that's a bit of a challenge as well. And there are other just hurry-ups in there, and I also like the way that the very target has been used for a super jackpot feature during multi-ball, where basically the harder you hit the very target, the greater the multiplier on the super jackpot. So you don't want to miss that shot, because it could be very costly in terms of points if you just nudge the very target and just get like ×2 rather than what it could be ×6.
Right. Okay. So, and congratulations are in order for Team Pinball as well, as Janos and Oti, who are 2/3 of the team, who are also a couple in real life, had their first baby.
Yeah, indeed. Actually, as almost exactly at the same time that we were doing the article. So I was down there a couple of days before Oti gave birth, and then things went a bit quiet for a couple of days, and that was quite understandable. But it was only a couple of days, and then we were straight back into sorting out assets for the article and getting it all signed off. So congratulations to them.
Right. Okay. Well, in other news, there's a couple of topics that we can discuss. Deep Root Pinball, who have working on several games to reveal, have now announced their press date for their launch event. They will be having this launch event the 25th of March, which is 2 days before the Texas Pinball Festival starts in Frisco. The event will be in San Antonio, Texas, at the Deep Root facility. And Martin and I have both been invited to be in attendance, and we will be reporting from there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They've Robert has published on the Deep Root website, deeprootpinball.com, both a sign-up form if you wish to apply for a position at that launch event, and also there's a full schedule showing when everything begins, which is basically 8:55 in the morning and continues throughout the day. But it is interesting that they are covering all aspects of production, both from the design and the manufacturing as well. And there's a tour of the facility, so you can see how everything has been building up over the past couple of years. Though the only game mentioned, I think, so far is Razza, isn't it? I think there's no mention of
Atomic Zombie Adventureland, which was shown at the Houston Arcade Expo last month, which we talked about as well. So in November we're talking about, but no other titles or game indications were mentioned indeed on the current program for that day. That might still change. I think it would be highly disappointing if I think previously there were rumors that at least 5 games would be announced once they were ready to announce. It would be slightly disappointing if it was only Raza. I think, but then again, we should be happy with anybody who is even willing to step into pinball manufacturing at this point.
Yes, it's probably worth stating that this is an invitation to what they call the long anticipated launch of the Deep Root Pinball Company. It's not a launch of any particular game, although Raza will be available. I mean, we've seen it already, so we know that game exists, but there's no specification or detail about what else they'll be showing. But it is about the launch of the company, I think, rather than any one particular model.
Right. Now, speaking of Texas-based pinball companies, there's another one, which is Multimorphic in Round Rock, if I'm not mistaken, near Austin. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit out of the way, but actually on the route if you're traveling from San Antonio to Frisco. So, and they announced that they have extended their warranty for their games and game kits. There will now be a 2-year warranty on these products, which is quite unusual, I guess, for pinball games. And they also announced an upcoming free software update for Cosmic Kart Racing.
Yeah, that's an interesting development, because Cosmic Kart Racing, as it was first shown, was a I guess you could call it a unique concept in gameplay. It was certainly very different to the and designed to kind of head-to-head.
2 players.
Well, it's a multiplayer game, really, isn't it? 4-player, would be they physical humans or whether they were AI players.
Right.
But their new version is a more standard, I should say, more familiar 3-ball option with modes and multi-balls, which is as they described as a more traditional pinball experience, which is, it's good. It's an alternative way of using the same hardware to deliver multiple games, which of course is what Multimorphic and the P3 pinball platforms really been all about. Not only just being able to swap the upper playfield module, but being able to use the same upper playfield module for multiple different games. And this is, it's effectively a second game for the Cosmic Kart Racing module.
Right. So, looking forward to that, and I'm sure that Multimorphic will have a big presentation at the Texas Pinball Festival in March as well, being based in Texas. So,
this is the first game of theirs, I think, to include being able to play games against other players over the internet, direct head-to-head matches. So that's it's the first game for anyone, I think, really, who's been able to pull that off. So that's a big coup for them.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting that internet connectivity seems to be a big thing for other manufacturers, and it's a topic that people have been have been asking questions about. But if, in all fairness, as interesting as internet connectivity for a game might be, as a player, I don't think that really should matter that much. The player, you should start with a fun game to begin with, and whether you can update it when the game is not being played or in downtime, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, sure, that's nice, but it's not adding anything for the player, I would say.
No, I'd say probably the first instance of providing anything that useful to the player themselves was actually from Dutch Pinball, wasn't it, with the Brider Pinbot 2.0 kit initially, and then the Big Lebowski, I suppose, after that, of being able to have internet connectivity in order to provide a sort of global scoreboard on the game.
I think so, yeah. You're right about that.
Yeah, but it is surprising how slow everything's been in getting internet connectivity built in. I know Jersey Jack Pinball have done it with their game updates. I think all their models now updated over the internet, but there's not all the benefits that you would imagine would be possible once a game can connect to the internet. No one has really pushed that in any hugely new areas yet. I'm sure there's lots of ideas, but making it robust and also secure is a lot of extra software programming. We know that the software side of things is a big enough headache or workload as it is now, without adding that whole other world of pain.
Right. And since you already mentioned Jersey Jack Pinball, why not on Jersey Jack Pinball? They revealed a new code for Willy Wonka, code update, various bug fixes, and gameplay improvements and so on, as well as a new topper for Willy Wonka. For both the standard and limited edition games. Can you tell more about the topper? Do you know more?
It has it has no physical animation to it, but it does have backlighting effects to produce a kind of waterfall effect. There is a boat on the back glass, or sorry, on the topper itself, which is on water, of course. So this produces a watery effect using LEDs, much has been done with I guess, a kind of like the
whitewater.
I was going to say I don't think it's that impressive. I was going to say more like the Black Knight Sword of Rage flame effect, but the other way around, I suppose, coming down rather than going up.
Right.
It's available for $300, and as you said, these days that's cheap for toppers, as we will talk about a little bit later. And that's available for the standard and limited edition. The collector edition, the CE games, came with the topper already, but I think it was a rather less impressive one than this one. So I think I've seen some CE owners expressing their unhappiness, shall I say, about the fact that they've got a topper, but it's not as good as this new topper which has come out, and they're expected to pay another $300 in order to get the best looking topper, which they thought they were going to get. But such is the market. New products come out all the time, and you can't something which is developed as an aftermarket add-on. It can't be added in. It can't be predicted when you're making the game in the factory. So somebody else could come out with an even better topper, and then you have to buy that instead. So in this case, it just happens to be Jersey Jack themselves who are selling it.
Right. Okay. So, unfortunately, that's all the news for Jersey Jack Pinball. I was hoping that we could reveal more. We were sort of hoping, or
I suppose you could mention about the candy codes, which were added in as a software update recently.
Right.
I know that Kevin Mann of Buffalo Pinball has been compiling a list of what the candy codes are and what they do. So it seems to be sort of almost like reverse engineering to try and work it out, because I don't think Jersey Jack Pinball are revealing too many details themselves. So that's go to the Buffalo Pinball website. I'm sure you can if you've got the game or want to play the game, and you can see what these codes do and how you activate them in the game.
Right. Okay. Then moving on to I'd say American Pinball. Yeah,
American Pinball had way back when they first announced Oktoberfest, which was Pinball Expo 2018. I think that's correct, isn't it? Yeah, in October 2018. They had some prototype games, which I think they had two on the actual reveal in the seminar where they did it, but I think they produced 5 prototypes in total, and they kept those. They didn't sell them, and but now they put them up for sale. And
one of the differences in these prototypes is that the artwork changed on the cabinet afterwards, because the main characters were sort of blocking the name Oktoberfest. I think that's one of the biggest changes that they made. If you know others, please do enlighten me and everybody else.
Yeah, there was also of course a change to the back glass, with a monkey there who was doing something which was criticized.
He was doing something that monkeys do.
Yeah, well, maybe if they're allowed, but that particular monkey was removed from that part of the back glass, and these prototype games don't restore that. They don't have the original artwork there. So that's those are the 5 prototype Oktoberfest games. American Pinball said if you interested in buying any of those, I don't know if they're all still available at the time of this recording or whether they've been sold.
Yeah.
But to contact your American Pinball distributor and inquire through them. Don't go straight to the company. The distributor is your route to buy one of those.
Right. So, and American Pinball was also sort of in the news, I would say, because the theme for their third game, which is expected to be announced or revealed at the Texas Pinball Festival, sort of leaked, or at least people started talking about it. Supposedly, that theme is Hot Wheels.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone's casting their mind back to what was it, the 70s, or was it the 80s, where Hot Wheels were a thing?
I think they're still a thing. At least you can still buy them. But back in those days, I think you could buy them for $1 or so, and they were very cheap and collectible, I guess.
Everyone had them. They were ubiquitous. And anyway, so that theme was rumored to be the third game for American Pinball, which they, as you said, are planning to reveal at Texas. So it's going to be busy at Texas with Deep Root. I should also mention that Deep Root will be at Texas with a big presentation and also some sort of VIP access to various areas as well, which we haven't got details of yet. But I know they're going big on Texas, because the San Antonio event is a press launch. So the Texas Pinball Festival will be their big public launch.
Right.
And American Pinball will be there revealing their third game at the moment. That's the current plan anyway. Although I thought they did actually say they were going to be announcing game number 3 at Expo, but back in October. But that obviously
changed.
They didn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
So Texas now.
Okay, so now I heard a rumor. Sorry.
Did you start a rumor, or did you hear it?
No, I heard a rumor about the Hot Wheels license. And since it's a rumor that hasn't been picked up anywhere else, I'm not going to be dropping any names, but the rumor is that American Pinball was not the only pinball company that got the Hot Wheels license. Or at least one other pinball company was interested in it and under the impression that they had it exclusively, but apparently not. And now it remains to be seen who has the license. Does one of them have to change the game that they designed for that, if they already did, for that theme, or what is going to happen?
Well, we'll be seeing 2 Hot Wheels games come out.
Well, that might also be the case. That would be a first, actually. Having the same theme used by 2 different manufacturers almost at the same time, although Pirates of the Caribbean comes to mind, but there was quite some time in between those two games.
Yeah, I was thinking more of World Cup Soccer and World Soccer Challenge. They got the Premier game that came out at the same time. That wasn't a license, of course, but it was based on the same World Cup event that was held in the US that year,
right,
in 1994.
World Cup Soccer was a license. Definitely.
Yes, World Cup Soccer was. Yeah, that was official license. World Soccer Challenge was a I wouldn't say it's a rip-off, but it was a tie-in, should we say?
Yeah. So, but okay, we'll have to see whether how that plays out with the license of Hot Wheels, and who ends up with it and releasing that game.
Okay.
Yeah, and
so
sorry, can't name any names.
No.
So I won't
just to
do
see
that.
what happens with that, whether that game, whether we do get 2, or whether that game comes out as one of them comes out as something else, or whether one of them is just dropped completely. I'd be surprised. They put a lot of development into it. Anyway, so that's American Pinball and their plan to reveal their 3rd game, the Texas show. I understand that you have some news about Mike Kalowski and what he's been getting up to with Home Pin.
Yes, well, we already announced that he's working on a pinball machine for the Chinese market, which is translated called China Zombies.
Definitely not Chinese zombies.
No, it's China Zombies.
Mm-hmm.
He explicitly expressed it to me that it's not Chinese, but China. Anyway, they have been getting ready for production of the first batch of games, and they did some improvements on the thickness of their side rails, which are, I have to say, ridiculously large, especially on the player end of the game, as the side rail sort of widens all the way up to where it actually goes. It touches the leg, the top of the leg, which is covering quite a big space. I mean, all you have to do is cover the flip button, because that's the only reason the protection is there, is to make sure that you don't wear out the print on your decals.
Yeah.
So that's rather big, but they improved the thickness of those from 1 millimeter to 1.5 millimeters, and they showed some photos on their Facebook of the cabinet and some parts on a pallet for the production of games, and the side rails and legs of the game are both red.
Blood red, yes.
Yeah.
Although they're not allowed to show any blood with the zombies, are they? I think.
Yeah, well, okay, we just made up that it's blood red, but they are red.
Yeah. Yeah, people can draw their own conclusions on that.
Right. So, okay. So they're working on that, and I think they were expecting to be already in production, but apparently, well, they're on their way, but not there yet. So, oh well. And I do have some news of my own as well.
Well, we have saved the biggest story to, well, I won't say the last, but nearly the last.
Right. So, well, good news for everybody who is missing out on Pinball Magazine number 2, which is the issue that focuses on the career of pinball designer Dennis Nordman. It is being reprinted right now. It's already at the printer, and it should be available the second week of January. And And when Pinball Magazine number 2 originally came out, it was just released as the magazine, and later on I started doing special sets of postcards when a new issue of Pinball Magazine came out. And such postcards would be limited to like the first few hundred copies that were sold that would get a set of postcards. For these reprints, I again worked with Argentinian photographer Santiago Chufo, and we put together a set of postcards that will be available with the reprint. But obviously there's also a lot of people that already bought Pinball Magazine number 2 and didn't get the postcard set back then because there wasn't any. So the postcard set will be made available for sale in the Pinball Magazine shop separately as well. So, and that's just going to be for a few dollars, and so you can complete your issue 2 of Pinball Magazine with the postcard set. So
I shall need to get some of those.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you know your way how to get them.
That is pinball-magazine.com, yes?
Yeah, exactly, yes. Oh, you're very well informed. How good of you.
Well, you know,
Right.
I like to know things.
Yeah, well, good for you. So, hold on.
Speaking of people who like to know things.
Yeah, well, you have to go and wait with that because my phone is ringing, but it's ringing in the other room. And as you know, I'm tied to a headset.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, but I can't pick up the phone. And I have a slight suspicion who is calling.
Yes,
and
as much as
I would like to pick up the phone, as much as I would like to pick up the phone, I can't move away right now.
Oh my! Would you like us to wait while you go and get it?
Well.
Oh.
I don't. Oh, I think it's stopped ringing.
I can't hear it ring anymore.
Yeah, I think it stopped ringing, but...
Oh, that's our bad. We didn't plan for that, did we?
No, and it's stupid of me to have my phone in the other room. It was... I could hear it ring, but oh well.
Well, look, it's almost the new year when we're recording this, so we'll do a New Year's resolution where we will definitely try and get Gary on as early as possible in the new year. So I'm sure he's got a lot of... Well, by now he must have a huge amount of things he wants to say to us. We've been going for a while and he hasn't got on yet, so I'm sure he will store all those things up and let you almost have a podcast to himself, to be honest, the amount of material he's got to share.
Oh my God, don't give him any ideas.
Well, this podcast, he thinks his podcast is about him, but it's not really. It's almost entirely about us, isn't it?
Well, actually, it's more about the pinball industry, and we're just hosting it. But Gary likes to interfere. Speaking of Gary, well, I don't want to jinx it, but there might be the possibility that we are doing a podcast together with Gary in the new year, as we will be traveling with Gary in between the Texas Pinball Show, Texas Pinball Festival, and the Midwest Gaming Classic Show. So in between those shows, we're likely to record a new episode. And with Gary there, you never know.
It'll be the end of the month, and the March edition will be due out at the beginning of April or the end of March. So yeah, and Gary will be with us. So no promises, but no fingers crossed. He'll be able to be there live.
Yeah. Unless something comes up, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm sure something will crop up, but I don't know. Maybe. Let's see what happens.
Right, okay. So you were... I was interrupting you because my phone rang, but You had some other news.
I was just going to go back to a few things from Stern, which we didn't mention. We were so tied up with the Stranger Things reveal that we should also sort of just mention that there's been 2 new releases of code for Elvira's House of Horrors, 0.88 and 0.89, which have added a couple of new deadheads, Mummy and Beachhead. Change some of the rules as well.
What's a beachhead?
I don't know. It's
and Mummy. I mean, seriously, I'm sorry, but just hearing those names. I mean, if we reference it to Scared Stiff, where we had Cheesehead, and what's the joke with Mummy?
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so
what's
it might
the
be
joke
hilarious.
With Beachhead? Oh well. Okay, I guess play the game and find out. But I'm already scratching my head.
Well, it's nice that they're adding more new characters.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. But okay, but please continue.
Along with that, they've also changed a couple of the way the modes work. The Unhappy Hour and Drive Me Crazy. Where making a lit shot puts a minimum of 15 seconds back on the clock. So even if the time has run out and you're into the grace period, you can still make one of those last shots and sort of bring the mode back from the dead. So that's nice. And there's some new high scores for the multi-balls, more speech and lamp effects. I don't know if there's any more Elvira in there. I don't know if there's any more humour in there. And they've also added support for the headphone kit, which should have been there really from the start. I didn't think it would be as part of their sort of base operating system, but apparently it wasn't. And now it is. So if you've got that headphone kit, good news for you. Also new code for Jurassic Park. 0.96, almost at release level, or fully complete level, I should say.
Right.
Where they've added exciting news. You've got another 5 seconds added to every mode by default, and probably the biggest thing, they've added a huge number of new high score records. 15 more high scores for completing various things or doing various things and getting the most points, or doing them in the shortest time. So that's it's going to.
So you got a loop champion and combo champion and dinosaur champion and T-Rex champion. And
so they'll all be scrolling by on the display during a track mode, a bit like Iron Maiden, I suppose. Where there's a large number of high score records for that as well. Obviously, a couple of rule changes and bug fixes for that, and the one that everybody's been waiting for, of course, is the Star Wars topper, which
well, everybody except for me, but okay.
What? Oh my goodness! What better timing than with the new movie coming out? But the Star Wars R2-D2 topper, taking orders for it now. I'm not sure it's actually available yet, but you can buy it. And as you were not just raising, but raising the tone of your voice at $300 for the Jersey Jack one, this one comes in at $750.
Oh, like it's nothing. And the funny thing is, I already hear people speculating that they are going to buy these and expect them to flip them in a couple of years for even a lot more money.
Well, they are limited to 500. And they fit all 3 models. You're not limited in that sense to only having it on the limited edition or the premium. It fits on the Pro as well. If you want to spend $775 when you had the shipping in as well, to put that on your Pro model. But as you say, I think a lot of people are looking at this more as just another Star Wars collectible, and with only 500 around, quite a rare one at that, and 750 even rarer.
Right. So, I'll be passing on that one. But then again, I don't have a Star Wars pinball machine either, so I wouldn't know where to put it.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure that's a requisite. It look nice in its box sitting on the shelf somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah,
just appreciating in value. So I think that is all the news that I've got. Have you got any more?
No, I think I mentioned the reprint of Pinball Magazine number 2, didn't I? Yeah, I did.
Sure, whether you did. It might be worth mentioning. No, you did. Yes, it's all right.
Yes. Okay. So, we're recording this the December 30. So I'd say I wish all our listeners a happy ending of 2019 and a good beginning of 2020.
Yes, a very happy new year to everyone. Hope all your dreams come true in this, well, at least the realistic ones. And let's hope it's another fantastic year for pinball. It's certainly, for all the things we've been trailing coming up in 2020, it looks like it's going to be a very busy year for the industry and for those of us who report on it.
Right. Okay. So let's continue doing our reports and recaps.
Absolutely, and we hope you enjoy them. We hope you enjoyed this look back at the month of December and a slight look ahead to what's going to be coming up in the year 2020. So thank you all for listening, not just to this podcast, but to all our podcasts throughout the year.
Yeah. And all the support that we get from you whenever we're at shows and or other events. Yeah,
it's really heartening to hear all the positive comments, and we're always open to suggestions. If you've got any ideas of things we can add or do differently, then please let us know.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it for 2019, for December 2019. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back next month with our January 2020 update. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Happy New Year.